women to overcome limitations of dreams, visions, or life in order to fulfill that full potential into wealth and riches, irrespective of what your background is. You're welcome to be esteemed with Bosede at this hour. The topic we are putting together to empower ourselves with is four factors. Four factors to making your imaginations become a profitable venture. I have so many factors here, but because I don't want this video to be more than whatever minutes, I want to just analyze four factors to making your imaginations become a profitable venture. What do we mean by imagination? What do we think imagination is? Wikipedia makes us to know, we can Google that. Wikipedia makes us to know that imagination is the ability to produce and simulate objects, simulate ideas. And these ideas comes in form of experiences in one's mind, which can be related to our past experience, or it can be related to things happening around us. Is the ability, I say it again, is the ability of the mind to be creative or to be resourceful. Ability of the mind to be creative. What is not yet in existence, or what is already in existence, but you are imagining how to make that thing to be better. It comes into your mind, and your brains will start to process it. I want to say it again, that imagination is the action of forming new ideas, new images, new concepts, new objects, without actually putting our senses into it. It involves, in my own words, I say it involves thinking of possibilities. When something comes into your mind, when an idea comes into your mind, you start to ruminate over it. You start to think about it. At the end of the day, you see that imagination becoming real. It is the opportunity to birth ideas. It is the opportunity to birth businesses. It is the opportunities to put dreams and visions into reality, that at the end of the day, me and you will be able to feel it and appreciate it. You know what? So many are the conditions that can help us to fine-tune our imagination. I want to let you know, the esteemed woman, that everyone, it's just like you're talking about gifts. Everyone has been given the ability to imagine things. But one thing is, where you channel your imageries is what that matters. Where you channel your imageries. When you sit down, or when you're meditating, or even while you're doing anything, when you are alone. Bible makes us to know that so many men of God, so many prophets, when in their alone times, they have these ideas coming into them through the power of Holy Spirit. All of us has been given the ability to imagine things. So many years passed when I was still growing up. My father, in the blessed memory, gave me this opportunity, myself and my immediate brother. He challenged us to start to read novels at a very tender age. Every weekend, we must have finished certain number of novels, and most especially that novel is usually Pace Setter. I don't know, my internet is doing something that is not really fine this hour. But notwithstanding, at that time, I started imagining, when will I become a writer like this? When will I put my emotions and my ideas, my reasonings into book? Those are as early as elementary period. And you know what? It lived with me. That idea, that imagery lived with me. And today, I'm proud to tell you, by the grace of Almighty God, that I've written books. You know, all has been given the ability. Another one is, another factor, another introductory part is, I want you to know that there's no age limit to have a great imagination. There is no age limit. Joseph was the least among his brethren. He was not deterred about the pit experience, prison experience, or Potiphar's house experience, but he was focused on the images he got during his dream. And so also, David was the least among his brethren as well. But he had this imagery in his mind that for God to have helped him to kill a lion, he has that element of having killed something. Having killed something at the back of his mind, even in his mind, he had that element of having killed something. And whether that thing was an ant, an insect, or a goat, or a lion, but he knew quite well, he believed that it could have been God that helped him to kill lion. And he believed that God, that God of yesterday is still available today for him to be able to face the uncircumcised Goliath. He knew that he didn't kill the lion by his power. And he said, he faced Goliath. And today we're reading about him. If you're saying all these are youth or as young adults, what about Caleb? What about Caleb? During the journey of Israelites to the promised land. What about Caleb? Caleb was aged among the entire Israelites. He was given the opportunity to go and spy the land along with other 12, along with other spies. But his imagery, the picture of the land that flows with milk and honey was much on his mind. That if God says it, God is not a liar. He saw it, that imagery was more than seeing the grasshopper or ants when they got to spy the land. All he was imagining was the promises of the flow of honey and milk. What are you imagining? What are your imageries at this time? You have the image of starting a business. You have the image in your mind of starting a vision. You have the image in your mind that God has called you to be a speaker just like me. You have books in you, but where are you in this level of imagination? You know, imagination originates from mind. It originates from mind. Mind. If you are that kind of person, whose mind is easily swayed, whose mind is dirty or full of negativity, if you are the kind that your mind is immature, that many things can easily pull your mind down into depression. If you are that kind whose mind collects junks easily, everything goes. If you are the everything goes person, then you're probably not going to have an outstanding imagination. Or you will continue to struggle. You will continue to struggle. You continue to struggle without making profit in such a vision. Why has God given us that ability to imagine, to have an imagination? The purpose is just for us to develop our mental, social, and profitable life. I want to say it again. For us to develop our social, our mental, our profitable skills. That is where God resides inside of us. When we continue to practice, work on this imagination, with fear of God. It is then we see that, somebody, he is able to achieve things easily. You become a terror that, whatever you put your mind doing, you achieve it. You become a terror among your family, or among your friends, or among your community. That, until that woman start to think about it. If she doesn't think about it, it's not going to achieve it. But the moment she starts to think about it, nothing is difficult for her to achieve. That makes you a go-getter. When you develop this emotional and social and profitable skills in you, it's an ability, it's a skill. You know what? I want to shock you with this. If you read the word of God, the book of Genesis chapter 1, I want to open our eyes to this. God himself has that imagination of what the world is going to look like, of what the earth is going to look like. He has it in his mind. The first verse of Genesis chapter 1 makes me to know that God created heaven and earth. Chapter verse 1. He created it. Now, when we go further in the reading of that chapter, we see that, and God saw, and the earth was without form; it was void. How will what God have created become void or without form? You know, when we read further in that chapter, he started creating. He started the acts of his creation. But you know what? He has already created it in his mind. He already has a mental picture of what the earth is going to look like. Okay, if that didn't sink well, I want to show you the creation of man. We are all scholars of Bible, and I'm not here to teach. I'm not here to preach, rather. I'm here to just put the word imagination into our minds, how to evolve around it. It says in verse 26 of that chapter 1, it says, let us make man in our own, what? In our own image, so that it will have dominion, it will do this, it will do that. Let us make man in our own image. God called for creation of man, which he already had. So verse 27 makes me to know that God created man in his own image. He called in the first instance, and now he created it. He created man. The image of God, he created him, male and female. Why did God created man and put female inside it? Because he had already had the mental picture that man alone cannot leave the whole earth by himself. He will need at a point a helpmeet. So he had it so that he won't now go back to remold, to reform man. He already put the two together in one. That's the power you can have when you put your imaginations into profitable ventures. That because you would have seen beyond even starting, before starting, you know. And what I want to say that at the point, even in chapter 2 of Genesis, I'm shocking you with some things, some revelations. Even in that chapter 2, I think it starts from verse 15 to 27. It was then he said, he said he wants to bring out the woman out of Adam. But that is not where I'm going. He said he did everything and he rested on the seventh day. After he had rested, and verse 7 of chapter 2 says, and God formed. After, we know he created man in his mind. So you know what? If God can go to this level of having imagination of who you are, of who I am, the purpose of him creating me. The book of Jeremiah makes me to know in chapter 1, verse 5, when he was talking to Jeremiah. When Jeremiah never knew who he was, even in his physical moment, the Bible makes me to know that God said to Jeremiah that before I formed you in your mother's womb, before I formed you, before I created you, I knew you. That's a shocking revelation. That vision you have, you already have it in you. You already have the mental picture of how your office is going to look like. You already have the mental picture of the profits that you're going to be having at a point in time. You already have it. You already conceived the name of that ministry. You already conceived in your subconscious godly mind what that venture is going to look like. God knew me and you before our parents even ever came together. So without missing much of the word, or without going much more, because I don't want this life to be more than necessary, the time. Before, I just want to dive straight into those 4 factors. As I said, I have many. Let me see. I actually have 12. But we're going to have 4 for our consumption. And this will still come up. I want to make a digression a little bit. This is going to come up in my strategy section that I'm going to have with some of the women that have opted for me to coach them. So if you're thinking of having a coach, a life coach, or you're thinking of becoming that leader that God has actually proposed you to be, you can give me a call, send me an email, or chat with me, and I can have you along with other ladies that is going to go into the strategy sections with me. So that is just by the way. What are the 4 factors? What are the 4 factors? The 4 factors to making your imagination become a profitable. What did I say? To become a profitable venture. God has already promised us that everything you lay that hand on, you're going to prosper in it. Why are you still timid? Why are you still, are you still at the back seat? Number 1 factor is the God factor. I'm sorry. All about me is about God. Every other thing is secondary. God factor. This factor is who has already embedded you and packaged you with all those abilities. He already knew what the purpose of your creation. He already knows what you're going to achieve. He already knows that. And unfortunately, many of us think we're moving away or thinking at the point in time that, I know it all. I know it all. I don't need God again in this. God can take his place and I'm taking my place. Oh my goodness. If you are doing that, if you are in that category of taking God out of your business, of taking God out of your relationship, I want to let you know that you are preparing for a colossal failure. You are preparing for what? A colossal failure. Destruction is imminent in such a venture. Destruction is imminent in such a vision. You know what? Joseph, as young as he was, in all this journey into that profitable vision, never at one time had swollen head against God. Even in his pit, in the prison, he had the fear of God in every level of his process onto greater level. He feared God. I mean, let's take the example of of his experience. His experience at Potiphar's house. His experience in Potiphar's house. It would have been like, oh, nobody's here. This is a free gift. Oh, let me take it. Let me take the ride. Let me take the journey. Which many people, countless people will just dive into. Just that experience of how many minutes experience? A vision, a life, a destiny will be disrupted, will be destroyed. He never had for one time. He honored God and he honored man. He honored God that gave him that dream. And he honored Potiphar. He honored his master. He honored his master that, why will I do this? Even though my master have given me all the opportunities in this mansion. Why will I do this behind him? Can we ask ourselves too? Why should I continue to lie? Why should I continue to make other people cry because of our actions? Why should I allow my fellow woman to just be at that down moment without putting in a helping hand? God factor. Until God takes you to that top place, don't take God factor away from that dream. Actually, if I were you, I will always take it back to him because he gave it to me already to manifest in it. I will always take it back to him. God, what do I do now? Oh, I've been able to make the registration of the business. Lord, what's the next step? Oh, how will I get this networked? How will I get being mentored? How will I get involved in being coached? How will I get in touch with some other resources that will make this imagination in me to blossom? Never put God factor out of it. Number two, I put it as me or you factor. Me or you factor. What do I mean with that is all the actions that me and you have to do in this. It's like a contract. God has given you a blueprint, a master plan. So you don't just sit down. Oh, I dreamed of that. Oh, somebody have just stolen my vision. I had that experience one time. The experience of, oh, and I was thinking of that thing that woman just mentioned. Oh, and I've just thought of this and that and that. You know, if it is God that's implanted it into you, it will turn around. Let me share this experience that I have. When the esteemed woman, actually the registration name was Lily in his hand. When Lily in his hand was started, when I started manifesting Lily in his hand, and it started to break down. It broke down into the esteemed woman. It broke down into leadership, business and leadership. It broke down into seniors. You know, under the esteemed woman, it wanted to be broken down as well. And at that time, I wanted to start this leadership training for the women, for leaders in ministry, leaders. And at that time, I coined out a name. Actually, I made souvenirs for that program. I coined out a name called WILL. This is so funny. WILL. I called it Women in Leadership Levels. Will. And you know, as I was putting these programs together, and I think some issues started coming in that I got a location. venue. I did souvenirs. I did writing pads. I did pens. I did the t-shirts for that program because it's for business and leaders to have impartation under WILL, women in leadership level. You know, at the point within that period, I heard and I noticed that my spiritual mom was actually doing a program that same weekend, and it was called Will. It was called Will. I said, is that going to be, did I hear or have I ever had that program? I never. God is my witness. I never heard that my spiritual mom is even planning anything that has the acronym of Will. And this is me. In my own little corner, I was like, I've done souvenir. I've done t-shirt. I've done this. Until after a while, I now started praying, Father, you brought this into me. You put this in my heart. What is it that are you saying? I dropped that name. I didn't abandon the vision. You know, just a matter of talking to God, He gave me another idea. He gave me business connect. He gave me even another acronym. So if it's about God, God is dynamic. God is dynamic. So I want you to always, in order for you and me factor to work and bring that vision into a profitable level, I want to advise you, always ruminate and pray on it. Write your imaginations down. Jot it somewhere and go back to it every time, to refreshing it and to remind yourself of what God is putting in your mind. And I will always say this: be focused and speak about it. Be focused and speak about it. When you are focused and you speak about it, become life. Because you are speaking life, it becomes a reality. Speak about it so that people will hear. Speak about it so that helpers will hear about it. Speak about it. Talk about it. It's just what is inside of you that you are putting out. Don't be fearful that, somebody will take away or snatch it from you. No, it's never done. If it is from God, it will come in another better and brighter level. Then the me and you factor also involve your preparation. Your preparation to birth that vision. Your preparation to start that business. Do you have enough resources? What is your preparation to birth it or to thrive? I mean, to when you birth it, to live, grow, and last, or overcome the temptation of competitive ideas or similar vision. Are you so prepared that even when, just like the example I gave, when your idea or vision clashes with another competitor, you know what? Whatever that God has given you, He has given to so many before you, and He will give to so many after you. So always talk about it, always prepare, go for resources, go right. Is there a vision that you will always have plan B for? That's a very major and critical one. Is it a vision? Is it an imagination that you will always have plan B? In my own case, I don't have no plan B for any of my businesses. It's either I do it and thrive in it, or I continue to sharpen it. If it continues to be sharpened and it faces a roadblock, with time it will have a way out of the roadblock. Don't try. I always hear, let's have a plan B project. I don't work with plan B. As many that are with me, because whenever I birth an idea, or whenever God puts a vision into my heart or a step to take, I would have prayed about it before I tell another person. I would have prayed so many times about it, and I would have gotten that conviction. So, what would I say that conviction is like when I abandon it? Did I want to say it wasn't God that gave it to me in the first instance? Did I want to say, God didn't want me to do that again? No, God will continue to do it even in another way. Because the vision, the book of Habakkuk makes us to know that. In the vision, when you write it down, even when you are not there, what you wrote down, people will take it and run with it. So if you keep on changing, plan B, before you know it, plan C, before you know it, plan D, before you know it, business doesn't work. You know what? As many that are making it, as many are the millionaires today, they are in business. It's either your business for God, or you are business for people, God and people, or you are business for yourself, or you are business for Satan. Either of the four, you will be. So stop trashing your vision. Stop leaving it behind the door. Stop dumping it. Number 3 factor is people factor. This is just, I'm going to just rush on this so that I'll be able to finish up. People factor. What I mean with this is, who are the people you are surrounded with? Who are the people you are surrounded with? Are they the dream helper or dream killer? If you don't know, I pray that God will deliver you as he did for Joseph, as he did for Esther, and as he helped Deborah, and as he helped everyone that's in the word of life. If David did not have Jonathan as helper, King Saul would have succeeded to mutilate that vision. And quickly, the last one, process or system factor. Process. There's always process. There's always a system to follow. If there's no process, God wouldn't have created heaven and the earth in 6 days. He would have done it in 1 day. He would have just done even half of it in 1 day and wait till another 1 year before he start the second one. You know, there's a system. System has to exist. And when it exists, you must make sure that you appreciate it. You don't become a medical doctor by merely going through elementary school. And you don't go through the high institution, high level of curriculum and not appreciate that licensure. If you don't appreciate it, it will not become a profitable venture. Because people will ask you. They will ask you. Even if they don't ask you, it's so going to be written all over you that you are just jumping from point A to point B. Then number 3 of system and processes, it has to be followed when it exists. One thing is to exist, another thing is to follow it. Don't leave plan A to plan D. Don't leave number 1 of the system to next time. I will start from the end. That's not going to work. And any system that is going to be profitable has to be flexible for renewal and updates. You can renew through so many channels. And these are the things I'm going to go through with all my mentees that I'm coaching. I'm going to put into coaching that I've signed up for my coaching classes. There has to be a system factor. There has to be a process factor. There is a time to do one thing. There's a time to do the other thing. There's a time for everything. Just as the word of God in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 to 10 will say. There is time. There is time for everything. There is season. There is season. A time for every purpose. He says there is a time. To everything there is a season. A time for every purpose every purpose. And I pray that you will manifest your purpose. And I pray that as God is leading me your way, you will surely manifest that purpose. Not only manifest, you'll be profitable in it. And with this, I want to let you know that the top is still awaiting your manifestation. People around you still needed your voice to be heard. And this is why I'm here to empower you and to give you all what it involves as God is leading me to make you to get to that top. My celebration will not complete if you don't meet me at the top. So the top is still there to manifest. It increase your profitable muscles so that we will all rejoice at the top. If you're having any question, inbox me. And I want to appreciate as many that are listening to this. Please help me to share this video because I don't know how many of your contacts that will need this. Share it in your contact levels and give me a feedback. Give me a feedback, review me, and go to my YouTube channel. I can see that you are not yet subscribed. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me and it helps you. And if you're part of and it's a way for you to empower me as well as I am empowering you. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and and click on the notification button so that each of this time that I will be coming with one topic or the other, you will have the understanding that I am in your system. God bless you. My name again is Bosede Adetunji. I'm life and leadership coach to empower women to live beyond the limitations that life has brought to their vision and dreams, so that they can live their full potential into wealth and successes, irrespective of your background stories. You can do it, you can make it, and you will surely soar like an eagle in the name of Jesus. God bless you. Have a wonderful, beautiful time. Again, tell others to subscribe, share, and that is what I'm looking up onto you too. And if there's any other program, especially on the coaching platform, I will let you know. But you can easily get this on my website, bosedeadetunji.com. bosedeadetunji.com. Also opt to be part of the Esteemed Woman group. I have Facebook page, I have YouTube channel, and God will help you as you are helping me as well. God bless you. I appreciate you. My regards to your family, and stay blessed always. You will manifest at the